recently in South Korea, they had a series of soccer games between different countries from East Asia, and they were playing for the championship. At one of those games, it was South Korea playing against Japan. Now remember, this was taking place in South Korea. But during the first half of the game, the Koreans displayed a banner. That's what they did, kids. A huge banner. And this banner read basically, it said, "There will be no future for the nation that forgets history." You understand? That was directed towards Japan, in reference to the fact that they're basically saying that Japan is denying its history, and the comfort woman issue. They want to exploit more money from Japan a second time. So they unfurl this banner, which is against the league's rules, the organization that organizes these events. It's against the rules to display a political banner, ads, or advertisements, something like that. It's against the rules, kids. Well, it didn't matter because the officials at the South Korea Stadium allowed that banner to stay up for half a game. But they also displayed two other banners, huge banners. And one of the banners was of this gentleman. He was an admiral of the Korean Navy in the early 1500s. And he's a hero to the people in Korea, and rightfully so, a military leader, a hero for a nation. He defeated the Japanese fleet in the early 1500s, making him a hero to the people of Korea. But the second person, the banner that they raised up, is rather interesting because he too is a national hero in Korea. And the reason why he's a national hero is because he's an assassin. Huh? Yeah, he murdered somebody. He assassinated someone. I think it was in 1901. He assassinated the Prime Minister of Japan. And that made him a hero in Korea. Then and now, as you see with the banner. But here's what's interesting. Can anybody please tell me what other nation has as its hero an assassin? I mean, that's all he did was he committed an assassination. Anyone? Let's move to the United States. I always like to compare with the United States, my country. Could it be George Washington, the assassin? No. He was a general and a president, so no, he wasn't an assassin. Benjamin Franklin, one of our founding fathers, he was a womanizer, but he wasn't an assassin. I bet you I know who you can associate being an assassin. Abraham Lincoln. That's it, kids. He was the assassin. No, he was assassinated, not that he was an assassin. And speaking of which, the person that assassinated Abraham Lincoln, he did it on behalf of the Confederate States of America for losing the war to President Abraham Lincoln and the northern states. The war was over, so for revenge, he assassinated President Abraham Lincoln. Is John Wilkes Booth a hero in the United States? No. How about the southern states? I bet you the southern states see him as a hero because he assassinated the man who suppressed the rebellion. No, not even the southern states. Nowhere in these here United States of America is John Wilkes Booth, the assassin, a hero. Perhaps he should have. Shut up. Okay. Also at this game, somebody waved a huge Japanese Navy flag. Now it is reported that the person who did this lives in Japan, but he's Korean. And he traveled to the games with this huge flag, I guess to invoke some sort of emotion on the part of the South Koreans. You see, I have a link in the description to an editorial in the South Korean periodical by a South Korean. And he says that this flag is no good. It's the Nazi flag. There's no difference between this flag and Heil Hitler's flag. You understand? Yeah. He says that the people in Korea and China find this flag just as offensive as the Nazi flag. Wait a minute. The Nazi flag lasted for 13 years during one government, one reign. This flag is about 150 years old through numerous governments in Japan. In addition, it is not the flag of the nation of Japan. It's the flag of the Navy of Japan. See, that's what this is, kids. So the South Koreans are saying, we find it offensive because of all the acts of horrible acts they committed in Korea and China. So we find it offensive. You find this flag offensive for supposed horrible acts they committed in China and Korea? Let me tell you something this flag did to these United States of America. Could you say Pearl Harbor, the Battle of Midway, the whole South Pacific? My country, the United States of America, the ships that attacked Pearl Harbor was sailing under this flag. The numerous naval battles in the South Pacific that we opposed was sailing under this flag. And guess what? We don't say this is a Nazi flag. We find no offense to this flag today in the 21st century. As a matter of fact, it's popular among popular culture in this country. We put this flag in its proper perspective. Today, it is not the flag of the enemy. It is the flag of a trusted ally of ours. And that's how we see it. Well, the flag of the United States was the enemy once to Japan. Yet the United States flag, they do not find it offensive in Japan. You want to know what flag should be offensive in Korea? Let me explain to you what flag should be offensive. 1948 to 1980, there were a number of atrocities committed in South Korea. Now, Japan was not in South Korea from 1948 to 1980. It was totally South Korea's doing. All these massacres were committed by South Koreans against South Koreans, not under the Japanese naval flag, but under the Korean flag. So perhaps if you want to be angry with a flag, it should be your own flag and not this flag. Now let's get back to those games. Japan came out number one, championship of those games. So the host nation, South Korea, listed the top five winners in the games. And they didn't put Japan number one on top. No, they put number one on the bottom. Last place was on top. They put the fifth place on top, fourth, third, second, and the first place was on the bottom only because it was Japan. See, we call that maturity, kids. What was that immaturity? Gee, which one? Alright, folks. When I go to Japan, I wish somebody would take me to a shop where I could purchase one of these big enough to fly from my flagpole in the back of my house. That's what I'm going to do, kids. Fly from the flagpole right in Texas on the Lone Prairie. We'll see you. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless the nation you happen to be. And can we please get a little maturity there in the South Korea there, the South Korean peninsula? I'm not saying all South Koreans, just those who behave, that find this offensive and that wave those political banners to offend the Japanese during sporting events. Not only is that immature, it's stupid. See ya.